We begin with the latest on Russia's war on Ukraine and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy saying he's planning to meet with the U.S. president on Sunday in Florida. Donald Trump is expected to discuss efforts to end the conflict with the president at that time. Zelenskyy says a lot could be decided before the end of the year. He says sensitive issues, including compromises on territory, will likely be major topics set to be discussed. World Report co-host John Northcott has more from London.
All this got going with the initial posting on X by Zelenskyy, in which he said, "We're not losing a single day. We've agreed on a meeting at the highest level with President Trump in the near future. A lot can be decided before the new year." When that would take place and where it would take place, a question mark. Now we're getting a little more information. News conference today, Zelenskyy speaking to journalists saying there will be a meeting, and it will be he and Donald Trump, and it will be Sunday. Zelenskyy said that he had a phone call meeting with Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, and Steve Witkoff, the president's envoy, and they discussed this possible meeting. Now, while there's been no official confirmation from the administration, it's worth noting that Jared Kushner reposted the tweet from Zelenskyy talking about them talking. And we know that the three of them met in Berlin about 10 or 12 days ago. So the idea being that this appears to be heading in the direction of talks. What might be decided? Again, scant information on that. Zelenskyy talking about logistics, about timelines, and also about the potential of security guarantees, which is, of course, very important to him. The Russians, for that matter, they haven't responded to much. In fact, we're still waiting for them to have some kind of official response to that 20-point peace plan that we got details again from Volodymyr Zelenskyy on earlier this week. But we do know from Russian officials, they say some of their top personnel have met with their counterparts in the U.S. for talks. So both sides are talking, only not to each other. Tricia?
Okay, so while these attempts to end the war continue, we have continued to see some airstrikes, though. So what can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. The war very much underway. We have attacks on the infrastructure, the oil and gas infrastructure by Ukraine, on facilities that supply diesel and jet fuel. And we also understand from the Ukrainians that they say homemade Russian drones hit the port of Odessa, again targeting the infrastructure that both countries need to continue this war. Tricia.
President Zelenskyy has also spoken to Prime Minister Mark Carney today. In an online post, Zelenskyy says, "It was a very good conversation and I appreciate it. I updated the Prime Minister on the status of our diplomatic efforts with the United States, as well as the first documents that can be assumed to be ready." He went on to say, "We are also working on finalizing the documents that still require attention. I appreciate Canada's clear recognition of the necessity for joint efforts to guarantee security and a real recovery."